It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I am taking a look at a small card game called Crabs. And in Crabs you are going out there and grabbing crabs and trading crabs for other crabs, but basically attempting to make sets and score the most victory points and walk away the crabbiest, or no, the happiest, I guess. That's it. The game looked a little simpler than it actually turned out to be, but it's still a card game, still a fairly simple set collection game. Let me give you an overview of how it works, and then I'll tell you what I thought of it. So here's what the game looks like, set up and ready to begin. Each player also has a hand of 6 cards, and the objective of the game is to have the most victory points, and that is going to happen when someone hits 25 victory points. Then we finish out the round, everybody gets the same number of plays, and we see who the winner is. So, on your turn, you are going to do one of several different things. First thing you can do is you can catch crabs. To do that, you are going to grab 2 cards. They can come from the pool, or they can come from the deck here. So you grab 2, that's it. That could be your action. You could raise crabs. And raising crabs basically means you are going to throw some cards in the pool, and you are going to take the same amount of cards. So I can throw in 2 1s here, and take this 5 and this 4, let's say. Next option, you can trade, which is you can throw in any number of cards. And so let's say I want to throw in this 2 and this 5, and then take back the value of the cards you threw in. So that's 7. I could take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 1 for 7. All right. And next you could upgrade, which is discard a number of cards, as indicated up here on this track, to move your little crabby up to the next step. And that's going to both give you victory points at the end of the game, the little stars down here are victory points, as well as give you a bonus to the binding action, which I'm going to explain in just 2 seconds. So that's the next one, and those cards that you are discarding, by the way, to move up, which is 1, 1, 2, or 3, just get thrown up into the pool as well. By the way, at the end of all of these actions, you have to check your hand limit, and that hand limit is 8. So next up is Relax, which won't make any sense yet, but later on you are going to be scoring some crabs in front of you, and the Relax action allows you to take up to 3 cards that are horizontal in front of you and turn them vertical so that you are scoring more points for them. For, as you see, these numbers here, both the little ones on the side and the big ones at the top, are also victory points once you've scored these cards. So I would go from a 4 to a 5, a 2 to a 3, and a 3 to a 4 if I relaxed all these crabs on my turn. So that's an action. And then lastly is the binding action, which is certainly the most complicated part of the game. It's a little bit tricky to explain. But the way it goes is you are going to use 1 card. Let's move these out of the way for just a second. You're going to use 1 card. Any 1 card is a rope. And it's basically a card you have to burn, okay? And then you can play any amount of cards from your hand to make a set on the table. It can be any card you want, and then depending on the total they make, you will be able to score one of those cards. And so, let's say I play this 4, and 3, and this 2, that is 5, 9, 10, let's say. And at 10, I know I get to keep a 2. Now, when I get to keep a 2, I either get to keep a 2 standing up like this, or I get to keep a 2 like that, because this 3 on its side is a 2. And if I keep a golden crab, by the way, also worth an extra victory point. And so I could keep either one of these 2 options, but the reason you might want to keep one of these, which you could not relax later on, is because up here are some scoring opportunities that you can, at the end of your turn, after you've performed one of these many actions, you can then get rid of the cards that would match, chuck them, and take a special scoring card, which down here tells you what you need to give up, and up here tells you the value you are going to get. That is also victory points, and then we would replenish that card there. Obviously, I would maybe not do that because this card is worth 2 points and the star is 3 anyway. But I might do it if I want to remove this card from the selection up here. So that's what you can do. Those are all your options on your turn. You continue doing this. The pool of crabs is going to grow, shrink. People will sometimes throw a lot of cards in there to then grab one valuable card and so on. But ultimately, you grab cards and make whatever combination in your hand you need to make. Score them by binding them like I just showed you. By the way, all those cards that you did not keep in the binding get thrown in the pool as well. You sometimes, after taking that action, will trade up for one of these bonuses. You will move your little Krabby up here for scoring bonuses, as well as the pluses at the top. And the pluses, by the way, that set I just made, if my Krabby had been here, let's say, it would have been the 10 that I played plus 7. And I could have scored as though I played 17 points worth. And you can only play a set if the card that must be scored is part of that set, which is why it's a little bit tricky. And you have to make sure you're not just hitting a total. You have to hit that total, and at least one of the cards has to be what that total turns around and scores. So that's the deal. And at the end of your turn, every time you compare, you look at what points you have and you see if you've hit 25. And so let's say I've got all this, and let's throw a couple more cards in here, and I'm red and my crab is here, let's say. Then my total, let's put this like this. My total right now would be 2 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points, and so on. You keep going. 25 is the end. Finish out the round. And at that point, whoever has the most victory points is the winner of crabs. This little card game turned out to not be quite what I was expecting, but I was happy with what I found there. The set collection mechanisms are all varied, but can lead to some interesting discovery while you're playing. And the scoring mechanism, certainly a little bit tricky to wrap your head around and a little tricky to explain, but they do include the little cheat sheets, which are very handy. Glad they put that in there. And once you've played a few rounds, then I think it's all going to click, I like the set collection. I like the score, giving away crabs to then step up and get those scoring opportunities. I like moving up on that bonus track. The different ways to get points in this game is neat. And there's a few little interesting tricks you can pull with the ways you can take actions. The dumping a bunch of 1s to get a lot of good cards, or just dumping a single 5 to get a bunch of low cards, and then turning around and dumping those to move up on the track for the bonuses. It's maybe obvious after you've played a few times, but it's still fun, and I still thought that it was clever, and the game did blossom as I played it, and the more I play, the more I go, this is clever, this is neat, so I like it. It's not something that I'm going to say I like a lot. It's not something that is revolutionary or anything, but I guess I was very pleasantly surprised, and for that I am very happy. So if you'd like a neat little card game, one that maybe has a couple more choices than your typical rummy style game, then check this one out. Crabs, it gets a thumbs up from me. Look into it.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.